Hello, happy day 3 of the challenge. We're here today to talk about 3 core elements that I want you to keep in mind when you're creating your content, and I'm going to give you some bonus tips hopefully too on today's training. So if you're hopping on with me live, make sure you say hello and let me know where you're joining me from. But thank you so much to all of you who have participating thus far, and I wrote a post last night, but I don't think I realized how much of a challenge I gave you in yesterday's prompt of owning your values. So for those of you who did it, oh my gosh, kudos to you. But for those of you who were overwhelmed by it or intimidated by really owning your value like that, that's okay. Like, I give you full permission to put that on pause and go on with today's challenge prompt, which is creating a piece of content. And know that it's totally okay to take time to really build momentum to that confident place. But you may want to go back and read some of the posts from yesterday, because I was shocked and stunned. Like, in challenges, I like to keep things really simple and actionable, because I'm not here to coach you one-on-one and support you along the way. Like with my one-on-one clients, I don't mind pushing them really hard because I know I'm going to be there with them for the follow-up. But for you guys, I want to make sure that I'm challenging you equal to the support I'm providing you. And so in hindsight, would I have maybe shifted it a little? Yes. But am I glad that I didn't quite even know how big of an ask I was asking you? Yes. Because the posts you created yesterday were stellar, and some of those I'm like, this is sales copy. Like, this is stuff you need to use for your offers and opt-ins and websites. Brilliant writing. And I know one of you even said it took you 2 hours to really get to that place of owning your value in a really brilliant and authentic way. So good job for putting in the work to do that. Today, in the training and on the worksheet download, we talked about 3 things to think about when you're creating content, and I'm going to dive a little deeper into them today. Feel free, if you're here with me live, to ask any questions or let me know if you get stuck anywhere too. That's totally allowed. So first, I want you to think through, who is your ideal client, right? Like, who is this piece for? Because even when we're telling our story or talking about our journey or talking about things that pertains to us, it's kind of like our About Me page. It's kind of about me, but it's not really. It's mostly about my client, right? And so thinking through when you're writing your content, hi Rachel, thank you for joining in here live. Who is your ideal client? Like, all those, you've probably done like an ideal client profile or something before, but it's asking, how old are they? What are their interests? Where do they like to shop? What do they like to do? But really knowing them, especially as pertains to the second part, which is their biggest challenge, right? And thinking through specific pain points that are leading them to the solution that you have to offer. Because in our content, my belief is that we want to start providing them results to their challenge even before they pay us for our product. Because we want them, right, like we talked about yesterday, like they're a stranger to us, they don't know us. And so we want to start really delivering and over-delivering even before they've paid us for their product. And so even if that's on your social media, sharing pieces, even if you haven't written them. Hey, Nicole, thank you for jumping. Oh, Nicole and I were just talking about this. But sharing like related articles and links on your social media can be valuable is because sometimes we want to create our own content, right? And really show ourselves as the expert. But I think we really also show ourselves as the expert by providing resources and value around that topic. So that can be a good thing to do too if you're like, how am I going to come up with all this content, original content myself? You can also curate other content and just be a one-stop shop for your clients, your specific ideal client in their pain points and really meeting that need. So thinking through, brainstorming in today's worksheet, what's their biggest challenge? Like, what does your client really struggle with? What are those pain points? And then moving on to the third part, which is like, what is their desired result? Which hopefully should correlate to either the product or the service you're selling, right? Hopefully you're selling them some sort of solution to their problem, and hopefully with your content, you're able to start kind of getting them breakthrough and progress and help and solutions even before they purchase your product. And so you want to think through what are little wins, little actionable things, like even when you create, especially, so we're talking mostly about like content as like Facebook posts and stuff like that. But you can think about this too when you do like an opt-in. So many times I see people create these really complex opt-ins when I think the best thing to do is to do a really simple, for people's first opt-in, what I recommend them doing is just like the 5 best tips to blah, 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 kind of like we're doing today. Like probably some of the posts you guys write today for your content could be great opt-ins. Because remember, since you are the expert and you're like immersed in this stuff, so many things that come innately to you and seem like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Why would I create a freebie about this? Everyone knows this. Probably not. And probably not in the way that you would say it, and really say it so concisely. And so really be aware of, what do you call that? Not power differential, but like, you know, a lot of times we're so immersed in our own stuff that we forget how valuable it is and that our clients don't know it and that it's new to them. And so, yeah, keep it as simple as possible, deliverable, actionable. The 2 posts I saw today so far from today's prompt were really good and just like 3 simple things. And I felt like they were really actionable and deliverable. So you guys are doing a great job of this. So what I want you to do today for the challenge is to create a simple piece of content. You can tweak it so that it fits your audience. But some ideas are to do your top 3 tips, to tell part of your own story if you fit in the same bucket of the same category as your ideal client. Like if you are a fitness and health coach and overcame your own health and fitness hurdles, you can share part of your own story and the top 3 things you learned or the top 3 mistakes you see people making. But you want people to read this and get value purely from reading the post, and they'll want more, right? Instead of just pitching your offer out of the gate or just alluding to your offer, I think it's powerful to actually give value right then and there. So that's what I want you to practice doing today. Yay, Nicole. Yes, tell me about yours. I was literally just working on my opt-in. 5 tips to communicate better with your team. Yes, so good. So the cool thing about that, Nicole, is you're giving them 5 ideas. Maybe they'll try 1 or 2 or 3 of them. And think about how powerful it is if they actually get inspired by and or try one and it works. They're like, oh my gosh, like, and they experience that breakthrough in their life and you weren't even there doing it with them. And so they're just thinking, imagine how much Nicole could do for my teen, could do for me, if I actually hired her. Like, it's a no-brainer. And this is why I love selling this way. In both of my online businesses, I did this. Because by the time you get someone on the phone with you, a prospective client, it's like they're asking you, okay, how do I work with you? Like, how do we make this happen? Because, like Nicole was saying, you've already helped me and my teens so much. Like, thank you. Like, thank you for how you've already helped me, and I want you to help me more. Would you recommend I cross-post to my Facebook or just keep that as my opt-in? Nicole, it's up to you. Typically, whatever you choose for your opt-in, I wouldn't distribute for free everywhere else, but it's up to you. Everything else, though, I would totally repurpose. Repurpose on all your social medias. You can always rotate them through. When you blog, a lot of people, too, when one way or the other, they write a blog post and then they break it up into some smaller social media posts. Or kind of what I do, I'm working on trying to get my content plan more in order too and making it more, what do you call it? I'm just working on repurposing my content better. But I kind of start writing my Facebook posts and then I'm going to end up turning those into blog posts. So you can do it either. I would repurpose, but to answer your question on if you're going to make that your opt-in as a way for people to give you their email address, I would just make that your opt-in. And you can make content around that opt-in, like say, here's, today, download this freebie for 5 tips, blah, blah, blah. One of those killer tips is, and you can say one of the tips, but you want to give people motivation to opt in. And so if you're using that as your opt-in, I wouldn't put the whole post on your Facebook business page, but I would for sure allude to it, and even thinking out what are the benefits of, like almost like the opt-in is an offer, like what are the benefits of applying that opt-in to their life, and then saying, if you're ready to experience more peace and connection with your teen, avoid conflict, finally, get more than just fine. When you ask them how their day was, download this freebie and blah, blah, blah. So if it's going to be your freebie, I would more talk about the results around it. But yeah, so cool, Nicole. So you're actually creating your freebie right now. Brilliant. Yes, start building your email list. I think that's amazing. And these concepts that I'm talking about, they apply to all sorts of content. So Nicole is using, 2 people today use this content for a Facebook value post, but yeah, you can totally also use it for an opt-in. Simpler, keep it simpler, the better, you guys. Get on the other side of collecting email addresses. Yay, Nicole, I'm so proud of you. I know you've been doing great this week. I love watching your videos too. And you may want to think about, Nicole, doing video as part of your content, especially if you enjoy it, it comes easy to you. Because especially the line of work you're in, if you want to get people face-to-face with you, then you're already getting face-to-face with them. Good morning, Nisha. Glad you're here. Yay. Totally. Great ideas on how to opt in. If you're wanting to get clients face-to-face with you, the cool thing about video is you're letting them get to know you even before you know them. So they'll probably get to hiring you and they'll be like, oh, so comfortable with you, and feel like they already know you. And you're like, wait, who are you? What's your name? But that's a great problem for your business, right? Because you want to build that trust and connection. And I feel like especially in therapy, like we want our clients to have a good trust and relationship with us. It's so important. I was definitely wanting to do an intro video. Would it be weird to have a video somehow with the opt-in? No, not at all. What I would do is after they opt in, usually when someone enters their email address, it takes you to a thank you page. Thank you for signing up. You can put your intro video right there, or you can put it on your About Me page. I think you could put it on both. I think your About Me page would be a great place to put a video. But if you want everyone who opts in to see it, I would put it after they opt in. I wouldn't put it before, because you really want to take people on a clear path and not give them like a million options. And so taking them from these are the results you'll get if you download my freebie, to downloading the freebie, enter my email address, and then thank you for giving me your email address. Here's a little bit about more about me, and you can even sneak in at the end and what I have to offer. So cool. Lead pages, Nicole, is a great, if you want to invest in it, it's great for that. If not, you can always just do it on your website. I just only bought lead pages starting 2 months ago, and I just used my email server ConvertKit for that before. And I'm pretty sure MailChimp, which is free, I recommend people just stick with MailChimp as long as they need to until they're ready to invest in the next level. And I'm pretty sure they have some sort of like email landing page too. Rachel says, I'm still trying to figure out my ideal client for my running business and not sure where to start. Great, Rachel. Yeah, feel free to post in the group today too, and we can help you brainstorm through basically what an ideal client is. Oh, lead pages. Sorry, Nicole. Lead pages. Lead, L-E-A-D, lead pages. Basically, it's like an easier version than designing it on your own website, but since you already have a website up and running, you could just use your website and put a button from MailChimp or something. Totally great option. Rachel, post in the group today if you need help brainstorming your ideal client, and we would love to do that with you. But it's basically, if it were a dream world, right, and you could work with anyone that you wanted in your running coaching business, what type of woman would they be? A lot of times it ends up being us, like our former self, especially if it's something that we have overcome. We are kind of like our own ideal client, but it doesn't have to be at all. So those are the 3 elements that I want you to focus on today. And really remember that I want you to build trust and provide value starting now. Like, that doesn't have to wait. And then I wanted to address the question too. A lot of people say, well, Anna, like, how much is too much? Like, I don't want to give away everything for free, obviously, because I want people to buy and purchase from me. How much is too much? Because here I'm telling you, the purpose of this exercise is to show up as the expert and give them actionable steps. But you're probably thinking like, well, if I give them too much, like what will motivate them to still purchase from me? And I don't really think you should have this fear because people will come back to continue working. I mean, obviously, like, it's a balance, but I think in general, my rule of thumb for how generous should you be in giving away free stuff and content, especially like written content or blog posts or videos, is however much you can give away without feeling bitter or like they owe you. Oh, I think I blanked out for a minute. Darn. I was saying without feeling like they owe you. So this point comes at different places for many people. But for me, like the free challenge I'm doing this week, like the tons of training videos that I do, the freebies, like I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm saying this genuinely, don't care if people join the challenge, get great results in their business. I've loved seeing you guys post like what results you've already seen in your business. If they take what I give for free and they use it and they don't purchase from me, I'm completely okay with that. When that changes and when you start to feel and see that shift inside of you, where you have this expectation of them needing to buy from you, then that's probably something you should be charging for. Let me give you an example. So this hasn't happened very often. Like people are and I think this is just because I don't mind giving a ton away, but people usually when they message me for advice or for feedback, I ask myself, am I okay giving this advice or feedback or editing this piece of sales copy or whatever it is? Am I okay doing it with no expectation of them working with me? And if the answer is yes, then I go ahead and help them for free. But if there's something in my heart that's like, you know, I think like one person emailed me one time and was like, can you review these 8 sales emails for me? And for me, I felt like if I did that and they didn't buy from me, I would feel like resentful. And so for me, I said, you know what, like this is a service I offer to my one-on-one clients. I, you know, am happy to share Google Docs and review and help them with their copywriting and their sales pages. But that was like kind of like a point for me where I knew that that was something that I protect my time for my paid clients. So that's kind of like an extreme example. And everything else, I actually don't have any bitterness or resentment on helping people for free. That's why, like, if you read comments in my group, I'll write like 3-paragraph answers, coaching and helping people, because I can do that for me personally. I'm not saying what you should do without having any resentment. Like, I have 0 resentment, and I feel like I can still give from that place of generosity without expectation when I coach people for free on comment threads, when I'm doing training videos, like when people watch training videos and don't buy from me or do challenges, like that feels good to me. Like I'm feeling good. But there are some people that it wouldn't feel good about. And if someone's participating or, you know, whatever it is and doesn't purchase, they feel like, oh, that's so not fair. I can't believe they didn't. So if any of that is coming up for you, then you kind of know that you either need to make a tweak or you're giving too much away. It's probably bad because just naturally I have a pretty generous, abundant mindset, and I actually think that's what's helped me get me so much momentum so quickly in my business. And so that was kind of an extreme, like my boundaries are a little further along than some people, but know that basically the answer is you can't give too much away, but watch where it starts. Is this making sense to you guys? Watch where it starts not feeling abundant and generous and peaceful and like no strings attached. If you're in that space of like, I want as many people to benefit from this post, this video, this challenge as possible, period. And I'm going to trust that the women who are designed to work with me will, then keep giving away, keep helping, keep responding in Facebook posts. And especially because so many of you guys, like, you're passionate about this. You're like, I want this freedom and breakthrough for other women, period. Like, this is just a part of my life work, and I get fulfillment in doing it. Of course, I want to be supported and make an income doing it, but I have this trust that the women that are designed to work with me are. And I think this is so powerful when we get this, you guys. It's so freeing. And I think there's like less of that competition too, right? Like, most of the people that I coach right now one-on-one don't have entrepreneurial audiences and aren't business coaches. One of them is has an entrepreneurial audience, but I have no problem coaching other business coaches or coaching what I do, or with my last business, like life coaching and self-care. I had no problem welcoming other women into that spectrum, into that forum, because I just have this belief that like your win is not a loss for me, right? Like, how do we generously celebrate with others from a really genuine place and realize the women that are meant to work with you are going to work with you, and the women that are meant to work with me are going to work with me. And anyway, sorry, that was my tangent, and how I feel like you guys do that so well in this community. You really cheer for each other and bring each other up. And where does that tie back into content? I think that ties back into content because when you have an abundant attitude of just giving away generously with your content, I think it serves you big time in your business. It really, really comes back to you, and it just feels better. So even if, I think it is actually better at the end of the day for like our bottom line return and our sales, but even if it wasn't, I think I just enjoy my business better. And I enjoy my life. Like, I enjoy what I do, and I'm able to be content and happy. And do you guys listen to Brooke Castillo's Life Coach School podcast? It's so sweet. But she talks about this idea of how do we be generous just in our lives, right? And really expect nothing in return. Like, what's that barometer for us? And how do we really give without, like, and I am horrible with this with my husband. Like, I'll deep clean the kitchen and I'm like, hey babe, check out the kitchen, see how nice did you notice that? Like, did you notice how shiny the stove is? I just scrubbed it. Like, because part of us likes that validation, right? Which isn't bad, but I think it's coming to a place where how do I serve and love the people in my life? How do I pay for my friend's dinner? How do I buy the coffee in the of the car in the Starbucks line behind me without expecting anything in return, without expecting a thank you, without expecting anything? Of course that comes, like, that's wonderful, but I guess not not having that expectation and letting our generosity and our gift be enough. Like, it's enough to give it and sit with that. Like, let our generosity be fulfilling enough that we don't need the validation. Working on that still. Yay, Lincoln, that's great. What did you do? The Starbucks thing? That is so cool. I know, I love that, because like the Starbucks thing is totally that, right? Like, we don't even know, like, wait, the person I guess you could do it either. What would you do? Do you buy it for the person in front of you or behind you? It's a good question. But that really is, that person wouldn't know. So I think that's a great example. And how do we, like, the example that I think Brooke used was, she noticed herself, the bitter and resentment started coming up when she always bought dinner for her friend, and then her friend kind of like assumed that she was going to do it again. And I don't know, it was interesting the way that, I should put the link for you guys too for that, because I really feel like that pertains to our business and our content. And yeah, what do you guys think about this issue of how much do I give away for free? Let me think if I can think of the other extreme for you, of when you shouldn't. I think we need to also be mindful on the other extreme of making sure that we are honoring and valuing our product and services, and making sure that others are too, right? So when we do give away free sessions or offers, intentionally watching how we frame that, right? So this is like the other side of it. If you are, I don't know how to phrase it, but if you're, giving too much away or whatever that means, just watch how you're framing the free things you're giving away, because I think our language is really powerful, like the wording we use around it. If you are discounting your services, let me give you a good example. A lot of times when women start out and I'm trying to like spur them into action, I encourage them to do free coaching if they feel like so unqualified to charge people. But I don't want you ever calling it free coaching. I want you to call it a scholarship, because that's what it is. And I want you to have women apply for it, because I want you to get committed people in there, because they're going to get better results. And I want you to have the same expectations that you would of a client. And obviously, I am not against people charging right out the gate. But even if you do free work starting out, being really intentional with how you wrap it so that you're getting good momentum and that you can get killer testimonials from it. And then even once you are charging for your sessions, when you're doing discovery calls, when you're doing strategy sessions, just being really mindful about the verbiage you're using so that you're not just able to get people on the call, but once they're on the call, it's an easy conversion to your paid stuff. Okay, I'm just going all over. Do you guys have any questions before I head out today on... So just a short recap of the 3 things that really need to be in your content are keeping your ideal client in mind, keeping their biggest challenge in mind and or pain points, and then really looking at their desired results, and not just the nuts and bolts of what they're wanting, not just the features, like a one-on-one session with me. But at the end of the day, and Candace did a great job at this on her post yesterday, but really selling those core needs we have as humans, right? So some of those are peace of mind, freedom, support and money in our life to fund our lives, happiness, making sure and do it in an authentic way, right? But keying into those things, I think Candace had said with her weight loss. Oh, I should repost it. Candace, are you on here? I should have you rephrase it. But essentially, it's not just about losing weight, but it's that realization and breakthrough that women get that it's not about a number on the scale that's going to bring them happiness. It's not really, she is helping them lose weight, but also the realization that it's not my weight loss that's going to make me happy. And then another example she uses that's really good too is being able to be more active with your kids, be more present with your children. Yes, don't we want all those things, to be more present with our loved ones, to experience more love and fullness in our life. And of course, we take someone through certain steps to get there practically, but that's not really what we're selling up front. We're selling those second tier benefits, those deeper felt benefits. Okay, feel free to ask any questions. I'm looking forward to seeing your simple pieces of content where you share just value and you start getting people results with your post. So top 3 mistakes that blah, 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 or top 3 tips, or your story around your lesson. But I look forward to giving you feedback, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day.